She hit me with her car and put me in the hospital. At midnight, I secretly pulled out her oxygen tube. Just as our feud reached its peak, our family suddenly went bankrupt. We were forced to make peace and find our own way to survive. 10 years later, my sister had become a renowned business tycoon. The first thing she did after returning home was smash the art studio I depended on to live. She tore apart the family portrait I painted and demanded I come out and fight her again. Chuan, we still have unfinished business from back then. Why are you hiding like a coward? Aren't these paintings your most precious possessions? If you do not show yourself, I'll burn every last one. Furious, I swung my fist at her, but my hand passed right through her body. After a stunned moment, I realized I had died 3 years ago. These paintings were what I left my sister, my final gift to her and the world. Qinghan's return caused a huge stir. Reporters surrounded her in droves. Powerful people competed to meet her, but she rejected every invitation and partnership offer, then sped straight to my studio. It was called an art studio, but it was really the top floor of a rundown old building. It was so poorly maintained that it had no elevator. Qinghan climbed all the way up, gasping for breath. She cursed nonstop the entire way. Chuan, you are ruthless. You moved to this hellhole just to hide from me. Just you wait. Once I find you, I'll break your other leg too. I spat at her from afar. I wanted to claw her face to shreds. She could not take climbing the stairs just once. For years, I had dragged that broken leg up and down these stairs countless times. A thunderous crash broke my train of thought. Qinghan kicked open the studio door with a bang. She stood before the dust-filled room, frowning in disgust. Is this any place for a person to live? Chuan, back then, you would not sleep on a mattress that cost less than 1 million yuan. How did you fall so low? With that, she dropped heavily into my chair, breathing hard. My leg was broken in that fight over the family fortune. Qinghan had not had an easy life either. Brain damage from oxygen deprivation would haunt her for life. Her heart and lungs had severe problems too. To live a few more years, she spent a fortune assembling a professional medical team to keep her alive. Useless. I rolled my eyes. Coldly, I watched Qinghan order her people to turn my studio upside down. Unfortunately, just like Qinghan, they were all useless. They even found the cockroaches beneath the bed. Yet they found no trace of me. Qinghan looked around. She kicked over an empty medicine box and sneered. No wonder your life became such a mess. So, you got hooked on something you should never have touched. Chuan, you think a wreck like you could fight me for the family fortune. If the Gu family's assets had fallen into your hands, I could not rest in peace even after death. As she said that, Qinghan's eyes darkened for an instant. She seemed to remember that distant past, the source of our hatred. When she stood again, there was nothing left in her but bone-deep coldness. She swept her gaze around the room, then finally fixed her eyes on the studio's family portrait at its center. The moment she saw my familiar face, Qinghan could no longer contain her rage. She strode over and tore it down, ripping the portrait to pieces in seconds. You think you deserve to hang a family portrait? I told you, there is no place for you in the Gu family. And I do not have a younger brother like you. I have one younger brother, and only one. And that is Haoxuan. That long and heard name left me dazed for a moment. Qinghan was still not satisfied. She furiously demanded that I come out and fight her again. The silent studio gave no response. She pulled a lighter from her pocket, waving its flame as a threat. Chuan, you coward who will not own up to what you did. What good is hiding? I am telling you, if you do not come out now, I will burn every worthless painting in this room. The words had barely left her mouth when a videotape fell from a hidden compartment behind the portrait. Then my voice came from a voice recorder nearby. Qinghan, if you dare touch my paintings, I will not let you go, even as a ghost. Qinghan froze for a moment, then crushed my voice recorder under her foot. You think this little trick can scare me? Chuan, you really have not changed at all. But when she looked at the videotape, she hesitated for 3 seconds and pulled back her foot. I want to see what other tricks you have left. The screen lit up, revealing my pale face. The instant she saw me, Qinghan frowned in utter disgust. But on the video, I wore a broad smile. Qinghan, it has been so many years. How are you still alive? What a shame. But do not get too smug. I prepared a grand gift for you. Watch it, then go die. The scene shifted to a bedroom. I was bent over, organizing painting after painting. My loose robe revealed to thin, bony arms covered in needle marks. I picked up the family portrait on top and held it up for the camera. This painting shows the 4 of us as a family. I was holding Qinghan's hand, smiling shyly and happily. The date is July 8th, 2013. It was the day before I returned to the Gu family. The police solved the major case and arrested my adoptive parents. They told me that the elderly couple who beat and cursed me every day were not my biological parents. They were the criminals who took me and ruined my life. A kind policewoman stroked my head sorrowfully and placed several photos in my hands. Do not be afraid. We have found your biological parents. Once the paperwork is complete, they will take you home. That night, I was too excited to sleep. Looking at the three people in the photos, I painted the family portrait I had always imagined. A gentle mother, a tall father, and an older sister who would protect me and be there as I grew up. But when I truly returned to that home, I found another family portrait there. It looked exactly like the one I had imagined, except there was no place for me in it. My father looked at me and explained awkwardly, "After you went missing, your mother was so heartbroken that she became bedridden. We had no choice. We could only adopt a boy about your age from an orphanage." My mother pulled me into her arms too, and tearfully said, "It is all right, Chuan. You and Haoxuan are both my children. This is heaven's compensation to me. From now on, our family will never be separated again." They found a psychologist to counsel me and contacted the best cosmetic clinic for scar removal surgery. The observant Gu Haoxuan was the first to notice the whip marks on my back and my missing teeth. When he learned my adoptive parents had caused them, he cried uncontrollably. Holding my hand, he said over and over, "I am sorry, brother." There was no fighting for affection or favoritism. Everyone in the family did their best to treat us equally. Whatever Gu Haoxuan had, I had to. And if Gu Haoxuan did not have something, they would get it from me if I asked. Though I could always sense a faint distance between us, I was content with a life where I was fed, cared for, and loved. I was truly content. By this point, Qinghan had clenched her fists tight. "Chuan, I knew you were up to no good. Mom, Dad, and Haoxuan treated you so well back then. But you, after all these years, you still use that worthless painting to provoke me. Chuan, you are utterly shameless." With that, Qinghan rose furiously, ready to smash the videotape. But a second before her fist fell, she suddenly froze, because I revealed the third painting in the video. This painting was of Gu Haoxuan. He lay there peacefully, his eyes closed, surrounded by pure white lilies. The date was June 10th, 2015, the day Gu Haoxuan died. I spent a peaceful years with the Gu family. My missing teeth were replaced. The burns on my body healed too. Even my old scars slowly began to fade. Just when I thought everything was moving in a better direction, Gu Haoxuan took his own life. He left a suicide note before he died. Every word was an apology to me. Only then did I learn that during those 2 years, Gu Haoxuan suffered relentless online abuse. Unscrupulous media outlets wanted attention, so they invented a sensational story about the real heir being replaced by a fake one. They said Gu Haoxuan's parents had ruined my life. Why should he take my place and live such a good life? After 2 years of online abuse, and after seeing the horrifying scars on my body, it finally broke that kind, considerate boy. He chose this way to atone. I remember one line from his note. "When my books were torn apart, when someone put mice in my desk drawer, I thought of going home to tell Mom, Dad, and my sister. But when I saw the scars on my brother Chuan, I could not say a single word. Everything I went through was not even 1/10,000th of what he endured. I should not burden Mom, Dad, and my sister anymore. I should not take the attention that was meant for him." So, on a silent night, Gu Haoxuan quietly ended his life. He truly was kind. He left everything he had to me. He was even afraid of disturbing everyone's sleep, so he did not make a sound. At dawn, Mom found Gu Haoxuan's body. She broke down sobbing, her mind shattered by the shock. Dad's hair turned white overnight, and he aged decades. Qinghan poured all her hatred onto me. She grabbed my hair, beat me down before Gu Haoxuan's memorial portrait, demanding again and again, "Why? Why did you do this? Haoxuan was such a gentle, kind person. After you came back to this family, he yielded to you in everything and walked on eggshells. Why did you still force him?" I did not know how to explain. I could not understand why Gu Haoxuan killed himself when 3 of my ribs were broken and I was locked in a pigsty. I never thought of killing myself. When I fought back against the old bachelor at the east end of the village and had my teeth knocked out, I never thought of killing myself. Even when my adoptive parents starved me for 3 days and nights, I drank rainwater and ate dirt, doing everything I could to survive. But Qinghan only wanted me to pay for Gu Haoxuan's life. In my panic, I kicked her in the stomach. From then on, we became sworn enemies. Years of suffering gave me an extraordinary will to survive. To me, staying alive was the most important thing in the world. When someone threatened my life, I always fought back without hesitation. Like when my adoptive parents beat me over 300,000 yuan in compensation money, I immediately called the police and escaped. Likewise, when Qinghan pushed me down the stairs, I did not hesitate to put rat poison in her food. Qinghan was rushed to have her stomach pumped. Dad died in a car crash on his way to visit her at the hospital. The blow devastated Mom further, leaving her mind more unsettled. She had no choice but to enter a psychiatric hospital for treatment. The Gu family was completely torn apart. Qinghan hated me to the core. She gritted her teeth and said, "Chuan, just you wait. Once I inherit the Gu family fortune, I will kill you." But I wanted to live, so I had to fight. In the end, the Gu family went bankrupt, and Gu Qinghan and I were left with nothing. After seeing Gu Haoxuan's portrait, a trace of warmth finally appeared on Gu Qinghan's cold face. But I knew it was not because of me. Still, she finally sat down to watch the last painting. This painting was of me, 28-year-old Gu Chuan, holding the 8-year-old version of himself. The date was May 19, 2022, the day I was diagnosed with cancer. Not long after Gu Qinghan went abroad to make a living, Mom died from illness too. Shortly before her death, she briefly regained her clarity. She left the savings she had quietly put away for years to Gu Qinghan and me. It was enough to keep us comfortable for life. Along with the box of the jewelry she loved most, she stroked my cheek with her pale hand and smiled helplessly. Gu Chuan, Mom knows none of this was your fault. Promise Mom one last thing. Forgive your sister. All right? I did not answer her then. After thinking for a long time, I transferred the money to Gu Qinghan. Even if home is poor, you need money for the road. She had to stay alive to keep fighting me. Gu Qinghan looked dazed for a moment. Then she spoke in disbelief. That money was from you. Back then, I begged every relative and friend I had, but everyone stayed far away from me. Not one of them would lend me money. I thought, that money. She could not finish, staring blankly for a long time. Then her face darkened again. Gu Chuan, do not think this money can repay everything you owe me. If you had never appeared, how could the Gu family have ended up like this? I let out a scornful laugh and swung to punches at Gu Qinghan's head. Who needs your forgiveness? Some time later, I noticed many problems with my body. Pain kept me awake at night. I vomited for no reason. My hair fell out in clumps. Large bruises constantly appeared on my body. I thought they were after effects of the beatings I endured as a child. I did not think much of it until I collapsed by the roadside while painting outdoors. Only after a passerby brought me to the hospital did I learn that I had cancer. The doctor looked at my faded, overwashed collar and sighed softly. Late-stage stomach cancer. If you have money, you can try conservative treatment. If you do not, treatment will mean very little. By then, Gu Qinghan had found some success. She had plenty of money, enough to prolong my life. I hesitated for a long time, but chose to delete her number. Then I painted this final piece in my studio. I did not want to bow to her. I would not surrender. I had grown used to being alone. No family, no friends. I came into this world naked, and I will leave it naked. As long as I did not trouble anyone, that was enough. At this point, my voice came from the videotape again. Gu Qinghan, when you watch this videotape, I will already be gone. These paintings are my final gift to you. But there is something else at the bottom of my art case. It is a secret. Only you can retrieve it. Gu Qinghan was silent for a long time. Then she rose and stumbled toward my bedroom. On the way, she knocked over my dried-up paints and my prepared easel. But when she opened the art case, she instantly froze. Inside was a little toy snake. It sprang out with a snap and landed at Gu Qinghan's feet. Once Gu Qinghan realized what it was, in a fit of humiliated rage, she kicked my art case to the floor. Gu Chuan, you bastard. I knew this was all a lie. Someone as terrified of death as you. Why would you leave all your money to me and go die alone? And I even shed the tears over your lies. You are unforgivable. Still fuming, Gu Qinghan then stomped hard on my art case twice. She shouted for her bodyguards to burn my paintings. Not just the paintings. You lot. Burn down this entire house. Anything that belongs to Gu Chuan, not even a pencil or a single hair, is to be left behind. Watching Gu Qinghan rage and stomp her feet, I could not help laughing. Good thing I was only a spirit now. Gu Qinghan could not hear a thing. Otherwise, she would have rushed over and punched me twice. I had not really wanted to scare her with the toy snake. Originally, I planned to keep a venomous snake and wait for a chance to let it bite Gu Qinghan. Unfortunately, I would not live that long, and I did not want to drag an innocent life into this. After all, the snake was innocent. Her men exchanged looks, and just as they accepted the order and prepared to act, Gu Qinghan stopped them again. At last, she spotted what was hidden. Beneath the art case, the jewelry box. She bent down and picked it up, gently wiping away the dust. This is Mom's jewelry box. Could everything Gu Chuan said be true? Gu Qinghan was clearly caught in a brief inner struggle. She gripped the box tightly, teeth clenched, trying to fool me twice with the same trick. Gu Chuan, you really are an idiot. I will not fall for it again. As she spoke, Gu Qinghan raised the jewelry box to throw it away. But the moment her hand rose, she seemed to remember something. After hesitating, she quietly lowered her hand. She carefully wiped every speck of dust from the jewelry box. Her voice was thick with helpless hurt. These were Mom's favorite pieces. She would never leave them to you. You thief with sticky fingers. You must have stolen them. Just wait. When I find you, I will break your hands. Though she said that, Gu Qinghan still could not resist opening the jewelry box. There was not much inside. Besides the few earrings and necklaces Mom often wore, there were her and Dad's wedding rings, and 3 small protective lock charms. The 3 charms each bore the names Gu Chuan, Gu Qinghan, and Gu Haoxuan. Gu Qinghan's and Gu Haoxuan's were polished bright as new, but mine was worn so smooth the name was barely legible. It was clear that after I left, Mom had stroked my charm countless times, remembering the days we once had. She had never forgotten me, and she had never hated me. Until her final breath, she still hoped my sister and I could put aside our hatred and live well. Sadly, I could not do it. Further down were thick stacks of medical records. Every word chronicled the hardship of my fight against cancer. The doctor had been right. There was no real point in treating late-stage cancer. The medication and chemotherapy were only meant to dull that bone-deep pain. Almost every penny I made from the studio went into treatment, but it was a drop in the bucket and did nothing. In my final days, I tossed and turned night after night. Ordinary painkillers no longer worked. All I could do was slam my head against the wall again and again, hoping to ease the pain, if only a little. One time, I simply could not bear it anymore. I climbed over the balcony, intending to jump, but just as I stepped one foot out, Mom's smile suddenly appeared before my eyes, along with Gu Qinghan's hateful face. I did not want to let her live on so freely and happily. I wanted revenge, so I gathered every sketch I had. I painstakingly arranged an exhibition no one would appreciate. It did not matter whether the world saw it. As long as Gu Qinghan saw it, that was enough. Just as I expected, the thick stack of records frightened Gu Qinghan. She read them again and again in disbelief. How could this be? Gu Chuan, you are lying to me, right? These fake medical records look convincing enough, but I will not be fooled. People like you live forever. You cannot be dead. Get out here now. The moment she finished speaking, a door opened outside. Gu Qinghan looked toward the door in delighted surprise, then immediately frowned. Who are you? Gu Qinghan asked irritably. What is your relationship with Gu Chuan? Where exactly is Gu Chuan hiding? Tell me. The older woman from next door gave her a reproachful look and said unhappily, You are Gu Chuan's sister, are you? Gu Chuan said he had something to give you. With that, she carried over from her home a large box full of sketches. Unlike the paintings that had been carefully framed before, these sketches were rough, yellowed, and carelessly drawn. Yet this box of rough, careless sketches recorded my whole, short life. The older woman looked at Gu Qinghan and sighed helplessly. Gu Chuan truly had a miserable life. He got cancer while he was still so young. When he was diagnosed, all the neighbors in our building discussed taking up a collection for him, but he refused to accept it, no matter what we said. He even returned the tuition fees people had paid him. That poor young man had such a kind heart. Before he passed, he told me, if a beautiful young woman ever came looking for him, I was to give her these sketches. If she never came, he told me to bury the sketches. The older woman's voice grew more reproachful. And you, a wealthy businesswoman like you, your own brother died, and you never even came to see him. I heard at the time that Gu Chuan's illness could have been treated. He had no money and could not bear to spend what little he had. Gu Qinghan stood frozen for a long time. Her hollow eyes stared out the window as she kept muttering, This cannot be. How could Gu Chuan be dead? And how could he not even have money for treatment? That box of jewelry Mom left him. Selling just one piece would have paid for his treatment. Once she said it, Gu Qinghan realized the truth herself. If I had wanted to sell that jewelry, why would I have been crammed into the top floor of that rundown building, running a tiny art studio just to get by? I just could not bear to sell it. After saying that, Gu Qinghan turned her head away in a daze. You said Gu Chuan is dead. Then, where is his grave? What grave? Before Gu Chuan passed, he told us to bury him anywhere. We were not well off either, so we pooled some money and buried him in the wasteland behind the mountain. Hearing this, Gu Qinghan abruptly rose and pushed past everyone. She ran outside in a panic. Only when the evening wind hit her did she fully come to her senses. She looked up, lost and terrified. Few people ever set foot in the wasteland behind the mountain. Only a small mound stood amid the wild grass. Long branches swayed endlessly in the wind, like a wordless outpouring. Even now, this woman, Gu Qinghan, still refused to believe that I was dead. She clawed desperately at my grave with her hands, muttering, Impossible. I do not believe you are dead. After all these years, we never settled things between us. How can you die? Get up. How dare you leave me behind and die alone? The bodyguards who had followed her wanted to help, but when they saw Gu Qinghan, they all froze. At some point, Gu Qinghan's face had become soaked in tears, as if she had gone mad. She sat before my grave for a long time. One moment she cried, the next she laughed, then pointed at me and cursed. Until the sun sank in the west, she finally staggered to her feet. Find out everything Gu Chuan has been through these past years. I want all the details. The more thorough, the better. Her men acknowledged the order, then pointed to the box of sketches. What should we do with these? Send them to my home. Back home, Gu Qinghan shakily took out a lighter. Perhaps because of that scene earlier, her body could not take it, or perhaps for some other reason. Gu Qinghan struggled several times before finally lighting her cigarette. She tried desperately to stay composed, but when she casually turned over a page of sketches, she suddenly began to sob uncontrollably, as if she had finally remembered the distant truth she had buried deep in her heart. I was only 8 when I got lost. Gu Qinghan was 12. 12 is an age when children are at their most mischievous. While playing with her friends, she discovered an abandoned amusement park. Afraid our parents would scold her, she took me along to explore it. They had so much fun that they left me behind. When I woke up again, my hands and feet were bound, and I had been stuffed into a pitch-black vehicle. The vehicle rattled along for a long time, until it reached a rural household. There were no cars, no Transformers toys, no loving parents, and no sister to cheer me up. They brought me there only to make me work. When I cried, they beat me. When I was hungry, they beat me. When I said I wanted to go home, they beat me anyway. Eventually, they beat me into submission, and I could only work myself to the bone, carefully, desperately trying to survive. Drawing became a refuge for all my suffering. At first, I drew on the ground with sticks. Later, I began picking through garbage for other people's, used notebooks, scrap paper, and pencil stubs. Later still, I was brought back to the Gu family. Mom and Dad asked what I wanted. After thinking for a long time, I said, I want a piece of paper to draw on. They gave me an art studio, so I could draw all the things I wanted to say, but could not, and everything I wanted but could never have. I drew it all on paper. At the end of my life, I wanted to paint one complete family portrait with me, Gu Qinghan, Mom, Dad, and Gu Haoxuan. But I truly had no strength left. My skeletal hands could no longer hold a paintbrush. I tried many times, but in the end, I could only spit a mouthful of blood onto the paper. After all these years, the bloodstain had dried. That unfinished painting became the final work of my life. Now, those yellowed pages made us both remember the memories buried deep inside. We remembered where all the suffering began. It had begun with Gu Qinghan herself. After blow upon blow, Gu Qinghan could bear no more. She spat a mouthful of blood onto the painting. The two bloodstains overlapped. Like a painting steeped in mournful, hopeless sorrow, the loud crash drew the housekeeper upstairs. She gasped when she saw Gu Qinghan collapse on the floor. She hurried over and helped her up. Miss, what is wrong? Are you feeling unwell again? I will get Dr. Ding right away. It is all Gu Chuan's fault. They were family, bound by blood. Yet he was so cruel to his own sister. It is simply unforgivable. Someone like him never deserved to live. If not for him, the Gu family would never have ended up like this. Those words, Gu Qinghan had heard and spoken countless times. But now, when she heard them again, they cut into her ears like knives. Was the person who destroyed the Gu family really Gu Chuan? No, it was herself. Gu Qinghan's tears began to fall uncontrollably. She murmured, no, it was not like that. It was not his fault. I was the one at fault. I was careless and lost Gu Chuan that year. I was afraid of being punished, so I did not dare admit my mistake to Mom and Dad. That was why Gu Chuan missed his best chance of being found. All these years, I have been lying to myself. After so long, I truly forgot what happened back then. I blamed everything on Gu Chuan, forgetting that the one who truly destroyed the Gu family was me. Those forgotten memories, through the paintings, were laid before her once more. She saw the abuse I had suffered over the years. She saw the sorrow and helplessness in my heart. She saw the life derailed because of her. There was no resentment or hatred in these paintings, only deep longing and a stubborn will to survive. After saying this, Gu Qinghan seemed to lose every last bit of strength. She crumpled to the floor. The housekeeper did not know the truth. She thought Gu Qinghan had suffered some terrible shock and hurried to fetch the doctor. When the family doctor arrived to examine her, the dazed Gu Qinghan suddenly grabbed her hand and repeatedly asked, Dr. Ding, does cancer hurt terribly? Dr. Ding paused in surprise. Yes, but Miss Gu, you are perfectly healthy. You vomited blood because you were emotionally overwhelmed. It has nothing to do with cancer. You do not need to worry about that. But Gu Qinghan acted as though she had not heard and pressed on. What causes cancer? People say the stomach is affected by emotions. If someone lives in a sad, oppressive environment for a long time, are they especially likely to get sick? Dr. Ding nodded seriously. From a medical perspective, that is true. But cancer has complex causes, especially stomach cancer. Irregular eating habits and an unhealthy routine, among many other factors, can all contribute. That explains it. He suffered so much abuse from childhood. His health was already poor, and I bullied him so cruelly. This is all my fault. I was wrong. I hurt Gu Chuan. I destroyed the Gu family. It was me. All me. Gu Qinghan was drowning in immense grief, murmuring over and over about her sins. From her fragmented words, Dr. Ding gradually guessed what had happened. She seemed to want to comfort Gu Qinghan, but after hesitating for a long time, she only sighed quietly. Miss Gu, The dead cannot come back to life. You must still take care of yourself. A bitter smile touched Qinghan's lips. She closed her eyes in near despair. Everyone in the Gu family is gone. I am the only one left, all alone. What is the point of living on by myself? I sat on the stairs, where Qinghan had pushed me down before. I swung my legs, yet my heart ached for reasons I could not explain. There was the satisfaction of revenge, but also a feeling I could not name. Finally, looking at Qinghan's shattered expression, I could not help saying, "Serves you right. A foolish woman like Qinghan should bear all that pain and helplessness and keep living. For her, death would be a release. Living would be torment, lifetime after lifetime." From then on, Qinghan's health grew worse day by day. She let go of the past and let go of her hatred. All that remained deep guilt. She moved my remains to rest beside Mom and Dad. It was an expensive private cemetery, nestled against the mountains and beside the water. Our whole family was buried there. Qinghan pointed to the empty plot beside them. "That one is reserved for me. But, Chuan, I truly do not know now whether I can face any of you again." Every day, Qinghan came to sit by my grave for a while. Sometimes she tended the flowers and grass beside my headstone. Sometimes she reminisced with me about our childhood, as if she had forgotten the years we spent locked in bitter conflict, as if she had forgotten every wound we had caused each other. In her eyes, we were a close-knit family, the closest brother and sister in the world. Until one day, Qinghan suddenly fell seriously ill. After she recovered, she could miraculously see me. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief. "Chuan, it really is you. Have you been well all these years?" I smiled and shrugged indifferently. "Pretty well. I mean, I am dead now. Before I got cancer, I wanted desperately to live. I did not care how miserable my life became. As long as I was alive, there was still hope. But once I was diagnosed, the pain made me want release as soon as possible. Thinking of it that way, I died a little early. But at least I got what I wished for. So my life was not entirely terrible." Qinghan said she wanted to atone. She asked what she should do. I tilted my head and thought for a moment. "Hold an exhibition of my paintings. I painted my whole life. It would be a shame if no one ever saw them, even after I died." Qinghan agreed in a hoarse voice. She called in every favor and connection she had to hold a grand exhibition for me. She laid my entire life bare before the world. Public opinion was divided. Some mourned the Gu family's tragic end. Others condemned Qinghan for having no regard for family ties. No matter what they said, she accepted it all. She offered no explanation, no rebuttal, and endured in silence. On the day the exhibition ended, I asked her, "Qinghan, when did you become such a coward?" After a long silence, Qinghan told me, "When I was sick, I dreamed of Mom, Dad, and Haoxuan. They blamed me. They said I should not have bullied you. They also said, you have remained in this world, refusing to be reborn, because you still have an unresolved obsession. I do not know what you cannot let go of, but I want to atone. If you still feel your anger has not been appeased, I can come join you in death, as long as you can forgive me." Mom's dying wish became the attachment keeping me here. She wanted me to forgive my sister, let go of my hatred, and live well. I cannot live anymore, but Qinghan can. I looked at the tears in the corners of Qinghan's eyes and smiled from the bottom of my heart. "Live well. If you can, live for both of us." The moment Qinghan nodded, I felt my soul slowly fading away. I felt a release from the depths of my heart. I waved to Qinghan one last time. Then, without looking back, I walked toward that